Hello, hello. Give me a sec if you're watching the replay because I need to check a couple of things. Okay. Need to check. All right. I'm live on my page, but I doubt I'm live in the Team Strength group. Ugh. It will not stream in the group anymore. It is so annoying. Can I? Hold on. Hold on. If you're with me, hold on. Can I share this? Damn it. I don't think I can share this in the Team Strength group anymore. I don't think that's an option for me. Click the share button on the event and click share to a group. I did that. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. I don't know what to do about it. Oh well. I think I'm going to have to move forward. I'm trying to figure out this. I can't stream to Facebook anymore. Oh, you know what I can do though? I'll just go live directly in the group. How about that? On my phone. So we're going to have two different streams going. Hold on. Give me a sec. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're live in multiple places. What's up, guys? All right. I'm here for Two Truths and a Lie and a cut update because I haven't done that in a while. I am having trouble with my streaming software. I guess Facebook groups, Facebook itself has kicked off the ability to stream to groups, like in general. And so the only way that you can do it is if you go live directly in the group, which I'm doing right now. I'm going live directly in the group on my phone, but I usually don't go live directly in the group because I use a third-party streaming software called StreamYard, and that not only gives me the ability to stream in multiple places at the same time, but it gives me the ability to share my screen. So I can't share my screen if I'm just going live directly in the group, but that's okay. I just won't share my screen today at all. So we're doing Two Truths and a Lie and a cut update. I'll start with the cut update. So Two Truths and a Lie, I'll get to in a sec. I had told you guys that I was going to do I was going to come on and do a vlog about my cut and all this stuff. And I have not been consistent. I think I've come twice, which is fine. I never promised I'd come every day. But it is snail's pace. So I did a 8 to 10 week fat loss phase earlier. I lost about 8 pounds and I got down from 140. I was sitting high at 140. I got down to 133. And then I went back up after I stopped it. I stopped it for a good 3 to 4 weeks. I took a long break. I went back up to 135, which is fine. I expected to go back up. I didn't expect to maintain the low of 133. I went back up to 135. I've been living there for a little while. And then we're doing the fat loss challenge with the group. That's happening right now. And so I decided to go back into a cut for 6 weeks, try to lose a little bit more body fat before summer. And we're going back to the States. I live in South Korea. We're going back to the States for a good 6 weeks. And it's going to be a little very off track there. I'm still going to be eating healthy and all this stuff, but I'm not going to be focusing on tracking and et cetera, et cetera. So trying to lose a little bit more before I get to that point. And it's been just about a week now, and I'm still at 135 pretty consistently, 136, 130, 135.0, 135.2, 135.4, 135.6, 136, 135.2. It's just been holding steady. And at the same time, I've been very hungry. It's so annoying. So I just want to remind you guys that like fat loss phases are hard. And somebody in our group, in our fat loss challenge group in the WhatsApp just this morning, which I haven't replied to yet, just came on to vent about like, I'm tired of thinking about food so much. I'm tired of like blah, blah, blah. And I just want to say, like, I get it. It does get easier as it gets further along, but that's why you can't live in fat loss phases, guys. This is something that like I talk about a lot, and how important it is to understand that even if your ultimate goal is fat loss. So for me, this is vain. This is vanity. This is not for health reasons. This is not for any other reason other than vanity and feeling like I want a little less body fat in certain areas and wanting to see a little bit more definition. This is not a necessary for me. For some people, it's more necessary for health reasons. For other people, it's not necessarily health reasons, but they just have this goal that they've been wanting to achieve and they want to see that they can do it. So for a lot of people too, there's like this middle category between me, who's like pure vanity, and somebody who needs it for health. There's this middle category. And a lot of our clients fall into this middle category. A lot of our people that come into our world initially fall into this middle category. And it is, look, I'm not overweight. I'm not necessarily unhealthy, but I have never been able to crack the code of strength train, get muscle definition, and also pay attention to my diet. We have a lot of people that burn the candle at both ends. They are in the gym strength training because they've heard and they know and they like it, and all that good stuff, but they're still under eating. They have not been able to figure out how to optimize their metabolism. So they're massively under eating. They're in the gym trying to strength train and nothing's really coming to fruition. They haven't been able to crack the code of how to actually have muscle definition, and be able to be in control of kind of like their aesthetics and what it looks like. So that's a lot of our people, right? So I'm in this fat loss phase for like vanity reasons. And for those people, it's like, I want you to push through. And this the person that was kind of venting about this was one of those people. She's trying to crack the code, right? She's already in the gym lifting. Yeah. So a lot of times when you're in the beginning of all of this, it is hard because you do find yourself thinking about food a lot because it's something that you're trying to overcome. It's something that's 24/7. Food is 24/7. You go do a workout, and if you are transitioning, let's say as an example, you're transitioning from cardio to, from mostly being a cardio person to mostly being a strength training person, those workouts are really, really hard. You go into that workout, it takes you 2 freaking hours because you're watching every single form tutorial video. You're doing the movements. You're not sure if you're doing it right. And then at the end of the workout, you don't even feel like you had that great of a workout and you're frustrated, but it's only 1 hour. It's only 2 hours. Nutrition is like all of your day. It's 24/7. And so when you first approach this new method of paying attention to your food, it does feel that way at first. And this is something that we're going to talk about more in our call that we do next week with the Fat Loss Challenge and our clients. So just for everybody to kind of know that. For me, it's interesting because, it's this feeling of kind of like frustration. I do want to see the scale moving, but it's been 1 week. Has it been 1 week? It's been a week and a half. It's Thursday. It's been a week and a half. Well, like, Jamie, come on, what do you expect, right? But when you go into this and you're struggling with the feelings of feeling a little bit empty, like there are days where I'm ravenous and I have a choice to make. Do I stick to my calories or do I allow that strategic 100 to 200 calories over in order to not feel like I want to eat myself from the inside out? That's what I choose. Let's increase calories a little bit this day and go right back to it the next day. Huge fan of doing that. You can still see progress doing it that way, and it's much more sustainable. I also started Taekwondo, and that was like high intensity interval training. If you saw my reel, if you saw my stories, I started a Taekwondo class, and the first one was on Tuesday. My second one is today. And that was all like bursts of high intensity intervals for like an hour. And so yesterday I was more hungry than normal. So I strategically added those extra calories. But I woke up this morning, like, I'm hungry. It's 7 a.m. I'm really hungry. It's going to be really hard to fast and push off till 10 or 11 a.m. And so it's just like, it's a constant thing that I'm balancing and thinking about, but I'm only going to do it for 6 weeks. Okay. I'm only going to do it for 6 weeks. It's short term. A lot of people try to live in this. A lot of people try to sit in these dieting phases all the time. They don't even necessarily know that they're doing it. I was talking to my group on Sunday, we do our weekly calls on Sundays with the challenge group and with our client group. And I was talking to them about Lara and I were talking. Lara, if you don't know, is our director of programming and head coach here, and on the team in the Strength Method. And we were talking about the fact that we both like tend to be the ones that eat the most in any given room. So she went to a baby shower where she finished her entire dinner plate, and like everybody else was like almost like complaining that it was too much food and they needed to take it home. And I shared a story about how I was over my best friend's house once, and her mom made a comment about how much I eat because I went for like 3 or 4 servings and I still like wanted more food. And we were just talking about this general idea that like, it's so funny because we're often like the fittest person in the room, but we also like eat the most in the room. And why is that? Because people tend to think in order to be fit, you can't be the one that's eating the most in the room. But what's actually interesting is that oftentimes once you truly, truly like reach that other side and you are like this person that truly understands like fitness and nutrition, it's often not that way. And there's a couple reasons, 2 main reasons that we kind of identified. One is that like it's just scientifically factual that our metabolisms are higher. The way that we train, the way that we eat, etc., our metabolisms are burning at a higher rate. So we can eat more and kind of get away with it, I guess. But the second reason is because most people who are trying to be, who have not like cracked that code yet, who are in this zone of like trying to lose weight or trying to be more fit or et cetera, are constantly living in this like state of restriction. And they think they have to be that way all the time. And a lot of people, I know from working with like hundreds of women over the years, a lot of people will restrict themselves at these events so that they can be viewed as somebody who is fit and healthy, et cetera, et cetera. But then they're going home and they're binging and overeating on things at home. So they're kind of outdoing all of that anyway. And it's this cycle that people can't seem to get out of. Whereas for Lara and I, like, we pay attention to our diet all the time. We're constantly focusing on protein and fiber. And we only go through periods of restricting our calories in fat loss phases. And most of the year, we're actually focused on trying to eat enough to maintain the process that we're doing in the gym and building strength and et cetera, so that when we go to these events and do these things like on the weekends, we can totally kind of let loose and have it be okay. And we've also learned how to kind of balance all of that, where most people are constantly living in this state of restriction and they think they need to display that all the time. And that's just so like, if I could just shake everybody and get them out of that mindset, like that would be like the one thing I'd want to change, is like, you can't live in this state of cognitive restriction all of the time. You're not going to get anywhere. You're constantly going to be spinning your wheels, constantly spinning your wheels. And what's interesting too, is that I'm doing a fat loss challenge right now, right? We never do these. We never do fat loss challenges. We're doing a fat loss challenge right now. We had people pay to join this thing. Our clients are doing it as well. And I have one participant, I'm getting on calls with everybody. I had one participant that's not going to work for. Like, once I realized what her history has been like, I was like, this is not going to work for you. You are not going to successfully see fat loss in this challenge because of the history that you've come from. She's coming from a state of constantly being restricted, constantly focusing on eating less. She's pretty much never hungry, even though like we gave her pretty low calories, like 1,500. And she was like, I can barely finish this. I'm just not hungry. I'm like, red flag. If you can barely finish that, your metabolism is kind of rock bottom right now. And that's not a bad thing. That's what your metabolism does. It adjusts depending on what you teach it, right? It was very clear that she's not going, and she's still frustrated because she's like, the scale does not move. I have this belly fat that makes, I feel like I look like I'm pregnant when I look in the mirror, and it doesn't go anywhere no matter how little I eat. Red flag, we're not going to get anywhere with this. So what did we do? We increased her calories. Like, that's right. In a fat loss challenge, we're flipping the script for you, because this isn't going to work for you. This isn't realistic for you right now. You need to increase calories. You need to teach your body something different. You need to teach your body, oh, we're going to send this signal, right? Oh, we're focusing on building muscle. We're going to focus on building the metabolism. You're telling me that I'm safe to actually add muscle, because your body doesn't necessarily want to do that. So if we think of it as like having a brain, your body doesn't necessarily want to focus on adding muscle or allowing yourself to build and grow if you're constantly putting it in a state of like restriction and not enough. Your body, the first thing it's going to do is, well, we don't need muscle. Why would we add any of that? We don't need it. It's going to pare that down, right? And so if we're telling our bodies like it is safe to do this, we're giving enough fuel, we're focusing on the right macronutrients, we're giving the right stimulus in the gym, then in time, your body can learn that this is the new you. This is like the rhythm that we're going to be in, right? So anyway, so fat loss things. I don't have much to say about me other than I'm chugging away, man. I'm chugging away. I'm curious to see how adding this Taekwondo 2 to 3 times a week is going to be. I'm reducing my training to 2 times a week. So I'm going to do 2 times a week, full body strength training, and 2 to 3 days a week Taekwondo. This week, it's going to be 3 days because it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday mornings. So we're going to go on Saturday mornings unless we're not around. And we have a lot of weekend plans coming up where we won't be around. So there'll be some times that it's not 3 days a week, but still a lot. So we'll see. I'm curious how that's going to affect my hunger levels and if raising my calories is going to be something that I feel like I need to do. Laura made the comment like, man, you're going to be shredded. I was like, I just don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. All right. 2 truths and a lie. Let's get into it. So I'm not going to share my screen because I can't share my screen with the Facebook group right now anyway, because of streaming issues. So listen up. Okay. Number 1. So this was about how often you should strength train. And this came up because of a conversation I had with a client where she's an in-person client, in her 50s. She's badass. I love training this person because of her enthusiasm. I just love her enthusiasm. I love her attitude. But one of the things that I love the most is how excited she gets when she realizes how strong she is. Because it's one of those, like, you might even see TikToks or Instagram reels about this where like your trainer's like running over with the plate and just like sliding it on the bar. And that's one of those situations where I'm doing that to her. And then she'll lift it. I'll be watching every single like second of her form. She puts it down on that 5th rep. And I'm like, that was awesome. And she goes, how much was that? And I'm like, 100. And when I told her 100 the first time, she was like, what? And then the last time she was here and she puts it down and I'm like, that was great. And she goes, how much was that? And I was like, 117. She was like, what? And she jumps in the air. It's awesome. But anyway, she asked me last time she was here, she's at the end of her training. She goes, I have a question. Because we see each other 2 times a week. She goes, should I be doing this every day? And I was like, no, no, you definitely should not be doing this every day. 3 days a week would be awesome, but definitely not every day. And she said, well, because I was talking to someone, I don't know. She said she was talking to somebody that said like, oh yeah, I lift weights every day. And I was like, they're probably not doing much. They're probably not doing much, right? And she's like, really? And so we just kind of started talking about like frequency of training. And I thought this would be a good topic to talk about. So 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, so remember, we're trying to pick out the lie. Number 1, for best results, women should strength train 3 to 5 days per week. Any more than that could risk overtraining or misplaced intensity, i.e. spinning your wheels. Okay. Number 2, women should use weights in some way 5 to 7 days per week for strength training to be most effective. And number 3, women can strength train every day if they want to, but the programming needs to be strategic if it's going to be effective. The lie is number 2. Women should not use weights in some way 5 to 7 days per week. However, you could, okay, but it needs to be strategic, but it is definitely not a general rule. So what I told my client is that ideally, a couple of things need to be happening in your strength training sessions to have them be effective. Ideally, you are lifting in a rep range with a weight that is heavy enough and challenging enough to actually cause your body to change, right? That's the goal. If you're doing in the gym what your body can already do with not a whole ton of effort, then your body's not going to change. Okay. It's not going to change. And in order to train heavy enough, I said, think about like the weight that you were just doing. In order to train heavy enough to like bring on that change in your body, which is increased muscle mass, increased strength, neurologic, central nervous system changes, like all the changes we want to happen in our body, you need time to recover. And what I told her is, you're actually not building muscle in the gym. Did you know that? I said, what you're actually doing is you're breaking down your muscle, or you're giving your muscle that new stimulus, but it's not actually building in the gym. It's building outside of the gym. It's building when you rest. It's building in the repair stage. It's building when you feed it. I was like, that's why rest and like feeding your muscles is so important. Sorry, I think it kind of is disconnecting in the group or being funky. So I had to change the. Yeah, you're not actually building muscle in the gym, you're building muscle outside of the gym. And if outside of the gym, you're spending your time worrying about how often you're training in the gym and doing it all the time, you're never giving your muscles time to actually repair. So one of two things is happening if somebody's strength training every day. Well, I'll say one of three things. One of three things is happening if somebody's strength training every day. Either this is the most common. This is the most common that I see. They are not actually lifting heavy enough or properly enough or with proper intensity to actually create change. They are going through strength training with a cardio mindset. They're using weights, but that doesn't mean that they are strength training. They are still cardio training. They're lifting quickly. They're lifting with a focus on heart rate. And their muscles are not actually getting stronger. Their body's not actually building muscle. They are going forward with a cardio mindset and they're not really doing much. So I said, this is the most common thing I see with people that are in the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week using weights is that they're just not doing much. They're in there, but they're not doing much. The second thing that is pretty common is, well, this isn't actually pretty common. I would say the second most common thing, let's say that, is somebody who has strategically planned it that way. So if they're in the gym lifting 6 or 7 days a week, then hopefully they are doing it strategically where their sets, total volume throughout the week is very, very split up. So maybe these are 20-minute sessions every day and each 20-minute session is very, very intense. That's possible. Or maybe you're only lifting full body strength really hard, maybe 3, 4, 5 days a week. And then the other days are very light accessory focused, right? That could be a possibility. Then the other thing that is possible is that somebody is trying to go into the gym, lifting as heavy as they can, as often as they can, and they are just overtraining and they're going to get hurt. So that's not as common because your body will scream at you and tell you that you can't. So that's not as common. But that first one is super, super common where people are just not really doing much. I was like, the people you're talking to, most likely they're not doing much. And they would actually benefit from reducing their training and making sure that that intensity in their training is properly placed, meaning you're not focused on your heart rate or how much you're sweating. You're actually focused on how heavy you're lifting, your proper form and technique. And once you get this down, you cannot imagine lifting any more than 4, maybe 5 times a week, which brings me to number 3 on Two Truths and a Lie. That is true, that it is possible to lift 5 to 7 days a week, but it has to be strategic. So what my favorite split is 3 or 4 days a week. I like 3 days a week, full body. There's also other ways to manipulate 3 days a week that can work with people, but just for ease, I'm saying full body, or a 4-day a week upper lower split. So scientifically, hitting your muscles 2 times per week is going to be the most beneficial for growth and strength and all of that stuff. So if we can hit your muscle groups about 2 times per week, then that's going to be ideal. But again, it needs to be strategic. So I like a 4-day a week upper lower split. It can be upper lower in any way you want. It can be, quads on one day and glutes on a different day, and then like chest on one day and back on another day. But honestly, that's not super ideal. It's better to cross because we want to hit them on multiple days. So I'm doing complete lower body 2 times a week where we're hitting everything lower body, and upper body 2 times a week where we're hitting everything on upper body in different ways is going to be pretty ideal. And then if you want to throw in a 5th day, so we have clients that do want to do 5 days a week training. It helps them maintain consistency, knowing that like every weekday I go to the gym, right? But that 5th day is going to be strategic, and it's probably going to fall in the middle here. It's probably going to be like this day, and it's going to be like accessory work. So we're not doing like heavy. We're doing like higher reps, accessory work, maybe flexibility and mobility and stuff like that. And then if somebody really wants that 6th day, again, we're going to be super strategic. We're going to say, okay, again, accessory work, low expectation on like the weight that you're lifting, mobility, or no strength training at all. We just want you to go into the gym and do mobility or do, whatever, stretching. Or another option would be like a push-pull legs. But the first 3 push-pull legs is like very heavy, and the second 3 push-pull legs is very light. But if we're going to do that, then I would argue that like maybe we should consider reducing it anyway. Let's put it this way. We don't program 6 days a week or more at all. 2 to 5 is like the absolute like most or least that we will program for somebody. 2 to 5, with 3 to 4 being the most ideal. So that's that. If you guys have any questions, please pop them in the comments. Thank you for being here. If you're watching live, please say hi, by the way. If you can just pop a hello in the comments, that would be awesome. I forgot to say that in the beginning because I was so concerned about streaming. If you're watching the replay, please say replay. And it's only 7:30 a.m. and I'm very, very hungry. So such is the dieting phase. All right, guys, peace out. Have a wonderful rest of your week. What's up, Jenny? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to end it here, and then I'm going to end it here. Bye, guys. That one's ending. Peace.